Hi, it's Monday night, which means it is Gotlive, and I'm Michelle Clark, and this is Tasha. She's at home tonight. Say hi, Tasha.
Hi, everyone.
She's at home tonight. She's jet-lagged and a little bit under the weather, so we're just going to do it from separate locations. So we're from Get Out There magazine, and on today's show, we're going to explain to you why you need to clean your bike and tell you how often you should be doing it. Today we have a special guest on the show, which is Paul Underhill. He is the creator of Rumble Drink, and he is living with cystic fibrosis, and he's going to tell us today why that isn't going to stop him from living his dreams. And then later on, Tash is going to give us a full recap of her weekend in Oregon at the Cascade. Is that how you say it?
Cascade Classic.
Cascade Classic. And I'm going to be going around the web and seeing what everybody else is up to this weekend. So, Paul, he is the creator of Rumble Drink, and this is one of my favorites. Recovery drink. I have it here. I drink it every day. He was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. He lives in Victoria, BC, and he is training and competes as a cyclist. So this guy is probably the most busiest guy I know, and he has decided to come and share his story with us. So thanks a lot, Paul, and welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you very much, Michelle. It's an honor to be here.
This is actually our first time seeing each other face to face, actually, because you're kind of like my boss, right?
Well, it is weird to use. I've never used Google Hangouts before, but it's really cool. So.
Yeah. So Tash is going to start off and ask you our first question.
Sure.
Okay, Paul. So, can you tell us a little bit about why you created Rumble Drink? What is it all about? What's this? We've all heard a lot about it. How did you develop it? What were your reasonings behind it?
Well, yeah, it's a good question, and it's an interesting story. Because I was born with CF, which is a condition which affects the lungs and also digestion, I was looking for a nutrient-dense, well-balanced, but ready-to-drink shake because I was tired of making my own all the time. I got to the point where I was active and I was busy, but I was also in need of high-calorie nutrition. So I was making my own shakes and relying on different powders and sort of recipes, but it's time-consuming and labor-intensive, and so I just basically I'm lazy. I wanted my own drink just ready to go sometimes those days when I didn't have the time to make it. And I went to the health food store asking if they had basically an all-natural and hopefully organic concoction, and there's basically nothing there. So that was the start of it. That was 6 years ago. It came from the basis for my needs, but I also saw with my business partner Steve, who had young kids, how it would fit into his life. And shortly thereafter, we got Dr. Kim Queen on board, who's a naturopath, also with 3 young kids, and treating athletes for their nutritional needs. It became obvious that this is something that a lot of people could use. So that's sort of the background to how it came to be.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What kind of ingredients are in it? Like, how did you take a lot of time to develop and compile what could go in it, and what would mix with what, and what kind of just wouldn't really mesh well together?
Absolutely. Like it started with trying to define what it means to be balanced. Like a lot of things claim to be great nutritionally or the best thing there is, but I really wanted to look at sort of the science behind things, subjectively test them myself to see how I noticed it. Because I, quite frankly, used to be a bit of a junk food addict and didn't pay that much attention as a young kid. But I really noticed a difference when I got older, when I ate well, in terms of how I felt. And so we did tons of research trying to figure out the best ratios in terms of carbs to proteins to fats, omega-3s to omega-6, which is a really big one, because truth be told, in times of need, I sometimes use things like Ensure and Boost, which have a 4-to-1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3, which is actually pro-inflammatory. And sick people and athletes, of course, want to quell inflammation. So we wanted to have high caliber omega-3s. That's what we get from organic flaxseed oil. We wanted to have a bit of fiber in there. We get from inulin. I wanted to have organic carbohydrates, so we've used tapioca. So a lot of time and effort went into choosing those things, and then even more time into trying to make it work together. And probably most importantly of all, to be honest, is to taste really good. Because if it doesn't taste good, nobody's going to have it. So research, science, experiments, years of R&D with food scientists and production partners to end up where we are now, which is hopefully a pretty good place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so you mentioned before that you have cystic fibrosis, and training can't be that easy.
Mm.
How do you manage your training and your competition?
I cheat. No, in all honesty, sorry, my cat's over. I do cheat in the sense, there's a bit of a story there. Is CF affects the lungs, and 4 years ago now, it gotten to the point where I was confined to the house mostly. I had oxygen 24/7. I had a walker, literally like the kind you see little old people use. And even with those devices, I couldn't get what's like a little cat here. I couldn't get myself down the street. So I was lucky enough to receive a double lung transplant in Toronto 3.5 years ago on Good Friday. And that makes all the difference in the world, as you can imagine, being able to breathe again, be able to take a deep breath for the first time in probably 10 or 15 years. So that's what I mean by cheating. But having been through that and having been without athletic endeavors for really a couple of decades, the challenge of training is really about learning how to pace yourself as coming back from an injury or operation, starting small and going for longer rides, and paying attention to getting enough rest and to eating well. I think for all of us, it's really about paying attention to all three of those components.
Definitely. So can you tell us about the ride for cystic fibrosis that you did a few weeks ago?
Right, yeah, that's called the Gear Up for CF. It's a 9-day ride that goes from Vancouver to Banff over every mountain possible on the way. And the idea is, of course, to raise money for awareness, raise money for research into CF and to hopefully find a cure, and also, of course, raise awareness for the condition. And that's where it originated 7 years ago, and it's a tough ride. It's fully supported, and I did it last year for the first time. This year we went on and did a 10th day into Calgary. And we had some pretty horrendous weather along the way, but we had a record-breaking year in terms of $380,000 raised for cystic fibrosis, which was fantastic.
I have a picture here of for you. This is. Is this your wife?
It is my wife Sandra. Yeah, she's wearing the new Rumble kit, which, by the way, is a little plug there. It's available. Anyone who wants to order can send us an email and we can set you guys up. But yeah, that's my wife Sandra taking the end of the first day. For anyone who's thinking of doing it next year, it's a great 1 or 2 day ride for most people. There's the 1 day option is 100K. That's my wife was happy to have done it last year, and then this year she did the 2 day ride, which goes from all the way from Vancouver basically up into Manning Park, which is a really beautiful but hilly area. So those are great options for those people that might consider next year.
That's wonderful. And so what's next on your calendar? What do you have? Any big plans?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to be. I'm trying to see where I can go with the cycling. I'm really loving that. I did some running in the fall, but on this upcoming weekend actually, I'm hoping to do a criterium race here in Victoria, and then there'll be the Tour de Victoria later in August. But yeah, I'm kind of a little bit feeling some trepidation about the race. It's one thing to go on these group rides and have a bit of fun and feel like a hero when you win a sprint, but in a race, of course, will be a different situation. So looking forward to seeing how that goes.
That's awesome. Well, I did my first crit this weekend, and it's not as bad as I was told. So
good to hear. I'll keep my fingers crossed.
I'm sure you'll do wonderful.
You said that, are you doing cyclocross this season as well, Paul? We were sort of chatting a bit on email.
Yeah. Actually, it sounds weird because I love sunshine. I'm not a big fan of winter, but I'm actually really looking forward to cyclocross. Definitely doing it this year, and even thinking about a training plan specific to cyclocross. So, in fact, the criterium training plays well into that. So we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Well, I'll be. I have an email ready to go for tips for the fall, because I just started my cyclocross training this week, so hopefully you can share some. Maybe we can create our own program.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll see what comes from that.
Tasha, so I guess Paul, I don't know if you want to hang out and stay with us, or if you want to leave, if you have other things to do. But I just wanted to say thanks a lot for coming on the show and telling us a little bit more about cystic fibrosis and more about Rumble Drink and the amazing ride you had a couple weeks ago, which I followed, and it was amazing. I just was blown away. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, anyone who has any questions at all, feel free to email us. at the info@drinkrumble.com website, and I'll happily fill in on anything from CF to Rumble to whatever people might be curious about.
And
Awesome.
follow Drink Rumble on Twitter and Facebook and all those other great places too, and you'll stay updated. Paul's the Twitter account guy, so he's always on top of it.
For sure. Thanks, Michelle. I really appreciate the chance to be on the show.
Thanks so much.
Cheers.
All right. So next we have Todd from 3sports.ca, and he's going to talk to us about mid-season bike maintenance.
Yeah, this video is a little bit. It was filmed on his iPad, so or his iPhone. So.
Hi there, guys. Todd McCall here from 3sports.ca to give you a little bit of tips on how to maintain your chain. Best thing you can do is every 200 to 300 kilometers add a little bit of lube. Now, if you haven't been doing this throughout the season, now's a good time to start. If you want, you can clean your chain with old-fashioned soap and water. Make sure you get some lube on it right away after so you don't have any rust problems. But if your chain is nice and clean or just has a little bit of grime on it, just add a little bit of lube and every 200 to 300 kilometers, and that should really help some shifting. If not, what you might want to do, if you have a little bit extra buildup of dirt, add a little bit of extra lube and then wipe off some of the excess, trying to flush out some of the dirt and grime. This will really help with getting your bike to shift a little bit more properly. If you do have any problems outside that, make sure you see a professional. Chains do wear out; they do stretch over time. So take your bike into a local shop and have it assessed. There's little tools that you can use to make sure it hasn't stretched too much, and just to prevent your bike from misshifting or something like that on a nice ride, climbing a hill, or even during a race. You don't want that to happen. So take a look at it as soon as you can, and make sure you keep your bike nice and clean.
So that was Todd from 3sports.ca. He's been on our show before. He's kind of our resident bike repairman. And I wanted to say, Tasha, I personally never clean my bike, so I know that you're the bike expert. I want you to tell me why I should clean my bike.
Okay, well, I'm quite anal. I pretty much wipe down my chain after every single ride because I was always told that a bike should be quiet. You should not hear that crunchy sound and have trouble shifting. It should just be completely quiet. And since then, anytime I hear my bike making noise, I know something's wrong. I know something needs to be done to it. And so, keeping your bike clean keeps it running and shifting better, makes it look nicer, makes you want to ride it more, and it's easier to get off the grime because if you leave it on too long and you're trying to take it off, it could actually chip your paint. So that's one of the reasons. I actually take I take Q-tips and I go in between every chain link and I clean my whole chain. So you don't really have to get down, and do that. But like I said, when you're riding your bike, you don't want to hear that crunching sound of your chain, every pedal stroke and every shift. So I really think, Michelle, you should take better care of your bike.
Thanks, Tasha, for the lecture. How many times would you clean your chain? Would you clean it like once a week or once every couple rides?
I wipe down my chain every ride. However, probably I'd say every 2 to 3 rides. Or when you start to hear noises, that's when indication that you should be cleaning your chain.
Yeah, my bike repair shop people give me hell every single time I bring my bike in. They say, "We'll do whatever you want, Michelle. Can you just clean it before you get here?" And I never do. So I will try my best. Oh yeah, one other question I had about bike washing. How would you recommend doing? Like, how do you do? Because we both kind of live in the same sort of small condo downtown Toronto. One of the reasons why I don't wash my bike is because I don't have a hose. I don't want to take a bucket of water outside and make a big mess. My condo complex might have a problem with that. So what do you recommend?
I usually would put down either a towel underneath my bike, or I would do it on tile, like just put my bike on the tiles, and I take a toothbrush and a little jug of water and chain cleaner, and I just brush the chain as well as the cog, and then I wipe it down, and then I take Q-tips and I go in between each, and then I wipe it down again, and then I relube the chain. So you don't need to. I know people do it in their bathtub, people do it outside, but
I had a brain idea how to save time. I'll come home, jump in the shower, put the bike in with me. We'll have a little scrub and dub together.
Tell me how that goes.
I will. Okay, so everybody, from what Tasha has told us, must clean your bike. It's important. Todd shared how to clean your chain, why that's important. I think the dirt getting inside all your components is probably a disaster. You spent a lot of money on these on your bike, so it's probably good. You take care of it like you take care of your car, I guess, right? So.
Yeah, same thing. If it rains, just make sure to wipe down your chain after you get back in because you don't want your chain to rust as well.
Okay, thank you. And now we are going to I'm going to be doing, I'm trying, this is hard to be a cameraman. We're going into our gear review. So today, I mean, Paul did a great job already sharing Rumble Drink and what it's all about. But I'm just going to quickly go through some of the things that Rumble Drink has to offer. So it comes in 2 flavors, vanilla, maple, and Dutch chocolate. There's absolutely nothing artificial, premium ingredients, naturally sweetened and low in simple sugars. So for me, I love it because it's only 11 grams per bottle of sugar. The best thing for me that I like about it, it's soy-free. Everybody out there seems to have a gluten problem lately, so it's quite a trendy thing to have. So this is a product that's gluten-free, and as someone who's lactose intolerant, I have no issues because it's 99.8% lactose-free. It's certified non-GMO, and how you would use this product is as a recovery or meal replacement drink. I like that it has 250 calories, and it's 20 grams of protein, 3,100 milligrams of omega-3s or omega oils, and the best thing about it is that 1% goes for hunger. So they're really committed to helping hunger not only in third world countries but all around the world. So any charities that do donate to to fighting hunger, it will go to that. I have with me the brand new packaging, and that was on I'm trying to get this twisted around. There it is. So we have the vanilla maple and the Dutch chocolate. What else can I tell you about this? Except that I love it. Oh yeah, there's some things in here that I wanted to share with Tasha. I don't, because Tasha knows a little bit about this product, but everybody else, I sampled this at a lot of events, and one of the biggest things that people are surprised by is that inside this bottle there's kale, spinach, red beets, black currants, cherries, pomegranates, green tea extracts. These are just some of the other ingredients. Everyone's always shocked that there's kale in here. It's not green. It looks like chocolate and tastes like chocolate milk. So that's one of the reasons why I like about it. It's not as heavy as a chocolate, like a sort of a regular chocolate milk drink. It's a little bit less, I would say a little bit more watery. It doesn't have that milky film because it's not milk-based. And it also has my other favorite ingredient, which is pumpkin seed oil, because pumpkin seed is a really great it's a great recovery product, and it's also, I won't get into a whole bunch of logistics, but it's a progesterone-based plant, so people like me who have estrogen, like I have problems with ingesting too much estrogen, the progesterone products are better for me. So I found this product to be amazing, and I love it. And everyone we sample, wherever we sample in Toronto, just is crazy about it so far. So, what did you have? And then you've tried the chocolate, right, Tasha?
Yeah, I've tried the chocolate, and I was completely amazed that you could not taste the greens in it. Because I know for myself, I can't handle that taste of when you use any of the Greens Plus products or anything, like it has that green aftertaste to it.
Yeah.
But this, when I saw and you told me that it had kale in it, I would never have guessed that ever. And I know there's this big hype of kale, and everyone wants to add more greens to their diet and whatnot. And this is the perfect product because you don't even notice that you're ingesting kale. So that was a big plus for me. And the taste of it, and it didn't disagree with my stomach because a lot of people can't handle too much whey or whey at all, and so I really like the fact that it's easy to digest.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to just quickly bring up was the price point. So a few times I've had people say, wow, it's usually retails for, I've seen it anywhere from $4 to $4.50. The price point can be sticker shock for some people, but I always say to them, what do you pay for a cup of coffee? I mean, how much do you spend for a cup of coffee, Tasha? Because you always get the fancy one too.
Like $3.50 per coffee.
Yeah, and if you get the extra shot or you get anything extra, you're paying over $4 for a cup of coffee that does nothing for you. The other thing too is you're getting 20 grams of protein, and if you look at any of the really great protein bars that are out on the market, they're roughly about $3.50, $4 as well. The other thing that I'm constantly telling people is that it's reseal. This one I've opened, so you'll open it and you can just drink half, reseal it, and it's good in the fridge for about up to 5 days. So for $4, you could have 2 days worth of meal replacements if you really wanted to break up. If you think the price is that outrageous, but it's not. I think it's an easy to go super shake, and it's everything you kind of need if you're running out the door. So for $4.50, that's worth my help. So I'm okay with that.
Yep, I agree too.
Yep. So that is our gear review, and now Tasha, you have some exciting weekend news, and I'm just going to. You have our race recap. That you were down in Oregon. I'm just going to throw the picture up here. So just tell us about your weekend.
So I traveled to Oregon on Wednesday. I came back this morning. So like Michelle said, I'm a little jet lagged. I landed in 100-degree weather. It was very, very hot. A lot of forest fires. They doubled their size. So a lot of the events down there actually had to be changed. The routes had to be changed just because visibility and breathability was really bad. It is, like I said last show, it's the longest U.S. stage race, and it's usually only open to the pros, but this is the first year that they invited amateur women. So I was competing with the 3-4 women, and a stage race really is, for this one it was 4 different events. We had a road race, a time trial, crit, which is just really fast loops, as many as you can do in a certain amount of time. And then we had a circuit race at the end, which is just 2 big loops. And if you have to complete one of the stages to move on to the next stage. Mm-hmm. So everything is timed, and there's certain time limits that you have to complete it in. And it was an amazing event. We got to go through the mountains, we got to go in town, we got to climb many, many hills, and let me tell you, hills in Bend, Oregon, our hills here are like a bump there.
Yeah.
It was so hilly. But I was really happy with my results. Like I told Paul, I did my very first crit race, and I finished with the pack, and I was really happy with that. And yesterday I had my best result. I came in 15th out of about 30 women in the circuit race.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It was really successful. So my goal is for next year to go and compete with the Pro 1-2 women, because I want to move up to Elite 2, which would enable me to do the 6-day event, which would be quite challenging, but I'm up for it. So
yeah, I've been to Oregon. It's not flat, and so congratulations to completing that. And we're going to be getting some video from you, I think, right?
Yep, I have lots of video, and I have provincials this coming weekend in St. Catharines, so this was kind of my preparation training camp for that. So,
all right.
It was awesome.
We're waiting for the video. I'm excited to see it, and again, congratulations. I think that's amazing and super challenging, so all kudos to you. And now for my favorite. This is my favorite. I can't help laughing every time I put up this still. It didn't happen unless you Instagram it. So I just wanted to quickly go through what is going on in the world. And so today is the beginning of Badwater. And I don't know if anyone knows what Badwater is, but it's it's a very long, I wouldn't say the longest, but it's one of the longest running ultra road races. The hashtag is Ultra135. You can go and check it out, the hashtag, and see all the pictures. But this guy here on the right His name is Oswaldo Lopez, and he's, for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, he's been the one to watch. So I think you should stay tuned and find out tomorrow how he ended up finishing in Badwater. And this weekend was also the Rock and Roll Chicago half marathon, and my favorite Instagram friend, Pavement Runner, ran it, and he did it for charity. And on the left is what he called his moving art museum, which I thought was really cool. He's amazing, so follow him if you're not. And the hashtag for that was RNRCHI. And then lastly, in town, local to us, we had the Warrior Dash. And as promised, my friend Robin Baldwin got shafted last week on our Instagram moment. So here's her finishing another Warrior Dash. This is kind of her expertise. And on the left, we have a love story. So their 3-year anniversary kiss after they completed their Warrior Dash. That was kind of cute. So I want everybody. And yeah, I think that's all the, that's all the Instagrams I have for you today, folks. But if you follow those hashtags, you'll get to see what everyone else was up to this weekend.
Michelle, I forgot to add something in, actually. Something right up your alley. I met a girl yesterday when I was in Bend, and she completed a 100-mile mountain bike race. And I think that that should be one of your goals for next year. It's every year. I'll tell you more about it. But Tell me more. I'll tell you more about it. I'll get more details, but I thought of you right away, and I think it's something that you should aim for.
Okay, and you can come with me. Yay.
100 miles. No problem.
No problem. Okay, so, well, I've been doing it on my road bike, but the mountain bike, that could be fun. So just to wrap things up, I just want to make a few announcements, and this is doubling up from last week, but our 2020 contest is still going on with Rhonda Avery. There's 13 days left, and that means 13 days left in the contest. In 13 days, she's going to begin her journey on the Bruce Trail, doing 20 marathons in 20 days. She's visually impaired, so you can follow her her journey. You can go to her bit.ly link Envisions to help her donate. She has a pretty big goal that she wants to get to by the end of this. You can also go and run the last 5K with her. So if you just go to her, follow her on social media, and you'll learn where she's going to be, what she's up to. And everybody should get involved. She's an amazing woman. I've met her live, and I love her. And what she's doing is absolutely incredible. The next thing is more fun, and it's going to be, so I wanted to make sure everyone knew about our new location. But the Blue Wave SUP demo is this Thursday from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I think Tasha's coming out with me. Rumble Drink's going to be there serving up lots of recovery for everybody, and we have and it is now confirmed, it is no longer a Michelle started rumor, but you're going to be able to race Turbo from the TV show Boundless. So I'm looking forward to seeing Turbo out there, and actually that's our show next week, is going to be Aaron from Blue Wave SUP, and Turbo is going to be teaching Tash and I all about supporting and racing techniques. So I'm looking forward to it. And you practiced SUP when you were out in Portland or in Oregon.
I did. I went yesterday morning. I was told I had to go do the Bend thing, which was to go SUP boarding. So I tried, and the currents were very strong. But it took me a little while, but I finally stood up on the board from crouching, which is how I started. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, Chris Wignall, also from Get Out There magazine, has already tweeted the challenge that he wants to kick our butts, I think. So we already have some X's on our back waiting when we get there on Thursday. So we'll have our GoPros out, and Paul and Aaron next week on the show. Anything else anybody wants to add before we say goodbye?
I just want to thank Paul again for coming on the show. It was awesome to have you, to be inspired and hear about your story and your journey, and definitely going to go out and get some more Rumble Drink. I want to try the vanilla. I've only been able to get the chocolate, so I got to try the vanilla.
Pass them in my fridge. You can come over anytime.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Tasha. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks again, Paul. Okay, so signing off for the Get Out There Girls. I'm Michelle, and this is my lovely co-host Tasha, who's not beside me. I feel so weird. And next week we'll be here Monday, hopefully together at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Thanks again.
Thanks.
We are out. Okay, we are out.